Hello and welcome to another episode of Car Conversations with Dorinda Monique. This is my channel, Get Your Money Right, and here we discuss money, mindset, and relationship mayhem that blocks you from reaching your full financial potential and keeps you from living your best life. So, today is episode 2. Yes, I'm a newbie in the game, but I'm excited and I'm having fun, and I'm glad you're here to join me because today's conversation is about child support. And I want to bring this conversation to light because I feel that not enough people talk about it in an adult way, right? We put our emotions in it, which blocks us from really understanding what child support is for. And so, because of that, we have men and women, or I should say custodial parent and non-custodial parent, because it doesn't have to be male versus female. It could be female versus male. It can be, same-sex partners and so on and so forth. So we're going to refer to them as custodial and non-custodial parents. And we're going to talk about child support. I think it's a very important topic, one that we don't give enough airplay to, but yet people are having children every single day and relationships fail, right? We know that relationships fail all the time, right? Yes, there are some couples that stay together forever, but that's not everyone's story. And so I think it's very important that we talk about child support. But before you do, I'm going to ask you a huge favor. I'm a newbie on this thing. Help me out, please. Help me out by hitting that thumbs up button, share this video, and then subscribe, okay? Hit the thumbs up, share the video, and subscribe. And most importantly, hit the notification bell so you can always be notified anytime I upload a new video, okay? Now, let's get into it. So, now, by the way, when I say let's get into it, that's when, the screen slides and, the title spins and all that. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I don't know how to do that yet. So you have to use your mind, use your imagination, and envision that that's what happened, right? The sliding, and whatever. Let's get into it. So, when it comes to child support, right? I think everyone really does truly understand what child support is for, right? But like I said, we kind of get our emotions in the way, and so it skews our thinking because now we're angry, and it's now all about me and my feelings and my money versus the whole purpose of child support, okay? And we have to learn how to take our emotions out of it. Now, in most instances, our financial situations, whenever we go through financial hardship, it's not always because of lack of funding or income or anything like that. A lot of times it's our mindset, and child support is one of those areas where we really need to kind of shift our mindset to affect a different outcome, right? So, I'm not going to use the Webster's Dictionary of child support. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Child support, court-ordered child support, is for the purposes of financially supporting a child, right? Now, I'm not going to get into the logistics of it. I'm not going to, I'm just going to turn this car off. I'm not driving today. I actually kind of reviewed my first episode, and the background noise was a little irritating. It was a little loud, right? And because I don't know how to edit and all of that fun stuff yet, unfortunately, that first video, we're going to have to deal with it until I can figure it all out and then go back and make some changes or whatever. But today, I had a busy day. I didn't want to talk to you guys with all that background noise. So I'm sitting in my car. I just made it home. I'm sitting in my car in my garage. And I wanted to have this conversation with you all before I called it a day. So back to this issue of child support, right? So, you know, child support is really self-explanatory. It truly is. It's for the support, financial support of a child. Point blank period, right? It's very clear. And when a child is born, they're very innocent. They have nothing to do with this adult stuff, right? They're the innocent bystander in all of this. But the bickering and all of the stuff that happens between two parents, the kid just kind of gets all of the heat, and it's just not fair. They get all the smoke, and it's not fair, right? But when we have celebrities, high value celebrities and things like that, we hear in the news, and they have to pay millions of dollars, of hundreds of thousands of dollars of child support. All of a sudden people are in an uproar, and they're like, no child needs that much, and so on and so forth. But you know what? I beg to differ. A child does need that much, because a child, if their two parents are together and you're living a high society lifestyle, then that's the life that the child is accustomed to, right? And now that one parent is no longer there and they no longer have that high income, it's unfair for that child to no longer live at the lifestyle that they're accustomed to, right? If you're used to living in mansions, homes that are $3.5 million, and there's 7 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, a full-size basketball court, a swimming pool, a butler, a maid, and an Indian chief, then just because that person's, let's say, we'll just say father, is no longer in the picture, there's a divorce or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean that that child should suffer, right? Here's another good example of that, right? If you have a child, right, your child grows up in a two-parent household, and you have dreams of your child going to college, and then in that two-parent household, one of the parents pass away, and now you no longer have that income. Should that child not go to college just because one parent is gone? No, right? The child should still go to college. Just because that parent is gone doesn't mean that child should be what's the word I'm looking for? They should be at a loss because their parent is no longer there, right? And that's why we have life insurance, so that we can still provide for our children in our death. Even though we're no longer here, we can still provide that for our child. And so child support is no different, right? Just because a parent or two parents are no longer together and one is high value doesn't mean that that child should suffer. That child has grown accustomed to a specific lifestyle, and that lifestyle should still continue, period, right? And so child support, again, is for the financial support of a child. And in most cases, a custodial parent has already provided housing and food and utilities and necessity and clothes, all of that, schooling, transportation, so on and so forth. Because when you're a custodial parent, you're doing these things on a daily basis. It's constant. It doesn't stop. That care is constant. You could be on the way to the mall, or, outdoors for, you know, whatever, and now you need a happy meal or whatever the case may be. The child is going to always need something. It's ongoing. So whenever you get that child support check, or however it comes, generally it comes as a reimbursement to something that has already been spent, right? It's a reimbursement. And it's unfortunate that you have some individuals who feel that a mother specifically is using it for herself, for her hair and nails and so on and so forth. And let me give a sidebar here. Let me give a sidebar here. I wish people would stop saying that, because it's very unfair. Because nine times, a person who um never gets their nails done and never gets their hair done and things like that doesn't just out the blue start just because they got extra money, okay? Or because they get another source of income, right? Let's stop thinking that way. A person who isn't into getting their hair and nails done and things like that is not going to just start doing that. So on the flip side, if a person gets their nails done and their toes done and their hair done and their lashes and all of that on a regular basis, this is who that person was when you met them. So if you met them that way, what makes you think that just because, right, now that you have a child and there's child support involved, that's what they're using your money for? If that's what they were and were doing and how they spent their money before you came into the picture and that's how you met them, they're going to continue to do that. So it's really rude, and I'm saying being nice about it, to use that as an excuse for not paying child support because you're saying, they're getting their nails done and so on and so forth. Let's stop that, okay? That's a mindset thing. That's a poverty mindset, right? Now, are there some people out there who blatantly does not use the funds for their children? Yes, there is. And those people are individuals who don't care for the kid regardless whether they have child support or not, right? They're neglectful, right? And they probably should have never been parents, right? So, but then they were also that person when you met them, right? So why would you expect anything different? And if they don't meet your criteria, why did you date them in the beginning, right? From the start, we could have just fixed this whole situation. You could have just said, you know what? No, boo boo, you're not my type, right? You could have just simply said that, no, boo boo, you're not my type, and kept on trucking, but you didn't, right? But again, this is not about that. We really want to. I'm really want to touch on this mindset thing, because child support is very important, right? For the custodial parent, raising a child becomes very, very expensive, far more expensive than a non-custodial parent will ever know, right? Because there's so much that's involved with children. Aside from food, clothing, and shelter, we're talking about sports and fuel for a car or any other monies for transportation to and from and things of that nature. And so it becomes very costly. And so the custodial parent needs that assistance in order to provide those things so that you can, so the custodial and non custodial parent can have a well-rounded, well-nourished, well-loved child, right? Now, let's talk about that child, right? To not provide financial support for your child is a form of financial abuse. Whenever you withhold funds for from a child, right, when it comes to their care, you're really being neglectful and it is criminal. Unfortunately, not enough people go to court and argue the criminal part of that. Instead, they'll go to court and they'll argue about not getting child support, and they ask for arrears and so on and so forth. They ask for increases, but technically it is a form of economic and financial abuse, because to not provide your child with the financial assistance they need to affect a healthy lifestyle, right, is abuse. That's it. That's all. It's abuse. And, I'm sure I'm going to get some people that are going to disagree with me, and that's okay. But it's abuse. It's not my opinion, it's fact. It's abuse. And shame on you if you're that non-custodial parent who's not doing their part, because the custodial parent and you can no longer get along, right? Um Equally so, if that custodial parent is not doing their part and receiving financial support for the care of the child, and they're also working or things like that, and they're not providing the child with the necessities of life, they're also guilty of financial abuse, right? And that also happens because sometimes you'll have a custodial parent who is so angry and bitter over whatever the situation was between the two of them that they neglect the child. And that's really unfortunate. And if that's you, please stop. Don't do that. Those children are innocent. Please don't do that. Don't use your kids um, as a means for getting back at one parent or the other. That's just, it's childish. It's childish and it's selfish and it's criminal. Don't do that. And you definitely want to make sure that your children live in a healthy environment. So let's talk about how this negative um view on child support affects the um mindset in your pockets, right? So when we live with a poverty mindset, and being against child support is one of them, what we do is, first off, anything that's closed, right? If I put a seed in my hand, let's think about this. If I have soil in my hand and I have a seed in my hand, and I put a couple of drops of water in my hand, and I close my hand and I keep my fist closed, even though there is a seed, right? Even though there's soil, and even though there's warmth and there's moisture, the seed will never grow. It's suffocating, right? It will never grow. Although the recipe for growth is there, it will never grow, not in a closed fist, right? But if I were to open that fist, right? You've got the seeds, you have the soil, the warmth from my hand, you have the water, right? Now it's exposed to the sun, to the world, to the air, right? We're able to see it and nurture it. Now we're putting it in a condition to grow. And a negative attitude towards child support is just that. If you have a negative attitude toward the financial care of your children, not only will you not grow financially, but you're blocking the custodial parent from growing financially, and you're blocking your children from growing financially because they repeat what they see and what they feel and what they've come to know. And if they always see arguing and bickering and stinginess in the household or amongst the people that were charged to care for them, they're going to have the same mindset. So everyone's growth is stagnated. No matter how much income you make, you never grow. And it's very important because, see, financial growth is not just in the number of dollars you hold. Financial growth also includes who can you bless with what you have, because when you split a tree, eventually you get two trees, right? When you take a branch and you split it, right? At first it's just a branch, but when you split it and then you put each branch down into soil and you nurture it, it multiplies, it grows. So now you've taken one branch and created two. And if you continue to do that, all of a sudden now you have a forest, right? So when we think of child support in that manner, don't look at it as though you're the non-custodial parent. Don't look at it as it being a hardship to you. If you look at it as willingness to bless your children so that they can grow. Now, we don't care who the gardener is, because your concern is not the gardener and the gardener is the custodial parent. Your job is to plant the seeds. So if you look at child support as providing a blessing and a what's the word I'm looking for? A fertile ground for your child to grow, guess what? Your child is going to grow mind, body, and soul, and finances, right? They're going to become not just older, they're going to become wiser, right? But if you hold that from them, they're going to always feel as though they're not worthy. And when you feel that you're not worthy, then you are restricted from opening your mouth and asking others for what you deserve. You become restricted in asking people what your worth is. See, child support is more than just a court order, right? There's a bigger picture at work here. So we have to get away from the idea of being so closed-fisted. We got to get away from being so closed-fisted. Now, when it comes to the custodial parent, if you continue to have a mindset of where's my money, right? He or she is not giving me this, or I need that, or you're always arguing and bickering and running back and forth to court and complaining day in and day out about what is not being paid or given. You're also acting with a poverty mindset, because now you are forcing yourself to believe that you can't move farther without that person helping or giving. In other words, it's like saying, with their money, I can move forward, but without their money, there's this brick wall. I'm just stuck here, right? And then when you see that, when your child sees that you're just constantly arguing and bickering about this money, then your child is going to feel as though they have to always beg and borrow and argue for a dollar. And you know what? You don't have to beg for what is rightfully yours. You don't. You don't have to beg for what is rightfully yours, because if you're blessed, you blessed. Period. It's just that simple. If you're blessed, you're blessed. So you don't have to push and tug and pull and argue and scream and pull your hair out and scratch and claw and scratch up cars and act a plumb fool. You don't have to do that. It's yours. It's yours. You know, my father used to always say, as long as I owe you, you won't be broke, right? And that's the mentality that you have to use. You know it was ordered. You know it's supposed to be paid. Just keep moving, right? And know that you are already blessed and that you will be provided for, and therefore your children will be provided for. And you walk with your head held in confidence that all will be well. And when your children see that, they'll know that mama or daddy made sure that there is no lack, and therefore they're confident and secure that they are well cared for. We have to get away from this negativity surrounding child support. There's a kid involved. That's it. That's all. There's a kid involved. You give it and you release it. That's it. If you're the non-custodial parent, you give it and release it. You plant the seed and release it. You don't hold it in a tight fist, because therefore your children will never grow. All they'll see on the other side of that is anger and bitterness. And that is no way to train up a child when it comes to finances. So, let me know what you think about that in the comments. There's so much more that I can share when it comes to child support, so much more that I want to discuss. And I would love to just have that open dialogue with you. So please leave me some comments in the comment section. Tell me what you think about that. And again, if you found some value or you want to hear more content such as this, hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and most of all, share this video, because there are people out there everywhere who are dealing with child support issues, and they really, really need to change their thinking. And I'm not, we're not going to talk about whether or not child support, it's too much or it's too little, or the courts, shouldn't be in your business or anything like that. No, that's not what this conversation is about. This is about the need to shift our mindset for the benefit of the beautiful seeds we've produced. So with that being said, I'm Dorinda Monique, and until next time, get your money right.